That's a big welcome back to East London Grand Prix Circuit here in East London, South Africa. The iconic Grand Prix Circuit down here in Slummies, as we like to call it. And it's for the Bigfoot Express Freight 700. It's round 5 of the championship of the South African Endurance Series, and we've had some big drama so far. Starting right at the beginning of the race with two cars having to start from pit lane due to some unforeseen damages to their cars. And just take a hat off to the sponsor here, Bigfoot Express Freight, for bringing in Ferrari gearbox for Kish Patamba's car overnight from Johannesburg, in fact from Vereeniging to East London overnight. Got the car ready, had to start from pit lane. Last round's winner and the previous round from that's winner, Fritz Kleinans and James Forbes, with problems on their Ligier, had to change an engine block and also had to start from pit lane, and within about half an hour that engine went as well. So unfortunately those two cars out of this race. We've got a couple of other cars that have also had some issues of their own, including the likes of the Alfa Romeos. We've got two Alfa Romeos stuck in pit lane now with a bit of issues. So it really has been a race of attrition to start things out here. We're into the second hour, and it's 2 hours and 7 minutes completed, with Stuart White leading things out after his second change into the Ginetta. The man who in the first hour of racing set a brand new outright lap record here at the East London Grand Prix Circuit. In second place, it's now Michael Jensen at the wheel of the Aid Call 247 Ligier. And in third place, Michael Stephen, who's now taken over once again from Paul Hill in the Aston Martin Vantage V12, is up into third place. That's how things stand coming back to us here for part 4 of our action so far. I've got the COC with me so far. I'm actually going to give him a microphone quick because I want to have a quick chat with him and find out how things have gone so far. So if you just give me 2 seconds to get that mic to Eric, I'm going to give him an opportunity to have a chat to us live on air. And it'll be great to have a chat to him because this is the first time he gets a chance to get up and up close and personal. Rex, it's been a bit of a race of attrition so far, and lots of action out on track, which has kept you pretty busy, which is why you haven't had a chance to come up and normally have a sit and chat with me normally. But the cool thing about this race is we've still got 2 hours to go, and there is still a huge amount of action still to happen out there.
Yeah, I don't think this race has actually even started yet. You know, the 2 hours to go, what we've seen already, I think there's a long way to go.
So I think from the COC's point of view, one thing I've got to take into account is how rapidly this East London Grand Prix Circuit Marshall team has worked. In the past, there's always been issues with communication with them, and sometimes they don't get it right. They seem to be spot on with your leadership, but so I've got to take my hat off to them, and we have to give them a shout out because these are guys and girls who come here and work almost on a volunteer type basis to ensure that we can go racing and have fun like we do.
Yeah, Greg, I mean, I feel sorry for them. We were running late due to no fault of their own. We had cars rolling and a whole bunch of stuff. So we didn't even have a lunch break for them, which was supposed to be between the 1 hour and the 4 hours. So, yeah, they've done a phenomenal job, you know, under leadership with Luan and the team. So it's been really great working with them.
Dude, you're coming up to give us some information. What's the information you've got?
Oh, I was just coming to let you know about the 83, the lengthy pit stop was a gear linkage problem.
Okay.
And that the car 17, the Ferrari.
The Ferrari's out, yeah, we got that information passed on to us. Thanks so much for that, buddy. Keep up the good work. We do appreciate everything that you do as well. It's a tough day in the saddle to be the COC for an event like this, and such a prestigious event, and he's doing such a good job. So a big up to Eric Schultz and, of course, all the work that he's done today. And we hope we're going to see him at a lot more events here. Out on track, though, the action continues, and look at that. Look at that backdrop. You do not get better than that. To go racing at a race circuit where you've got the sea in the background. And let me tell you something. The sets that are pulling in here over the last half an hour, I might just give this microphone to Ivan, the local commentator, and grab a 8-foot board and hit the sea. Because I can tell you something, there's some proper good sets coming in here. Problem we got on the left-hand side of that shot, as you can see parked on the inside, is that's the conrod that went into the block of Sarel van der Merwe and Rian Botma's car. And that's how he is parked on the inside of Beacon Corner. Out of harm's way, as you can see, but definitely not where they wanted to finish up things here today. It's Stuart White from Michael Jensen. Michael Stephen in third place in the Aston Martin. Tony Martin has moved himself up into fourth place. How's that for a bit of a play on words there? Hey? Stuart White from Michael Jensen. Michael Stephen ahead of Tony Martin, who is in the backdraft Cobra behind the Aston Martin. A little bit of play on words there, which I think only Ivan got. Howard Blake's there as well. He's up into fifth place. A great drive there from the Nash Sport. Gerald Wright in the Wright Motorsport Sports 2000 is in sixth ahead of Dane Angel in the Honda. John Oliver in the second of the Nash Sports. He's up into eighth place. Darren Winterboer has dropped down to ninth, but they were in pit lane for a little bit longer than I think what they expected. Rather safe than sorry, though, from that side of things. And then making up the top 10, of course, is the backdraft Cobra that just came in for the refuel. Now, Trevor Graham was at the wheel of that car. If they did refuel it, I think they might not have changed the transponder, but I do believe it was Brian Martin who climbed into that car. So it is now Brian Martin at the wheel of the 5-2 car there in 10th place. John McLaughlin is in 11th. Romano Sartori is still in 12th. And, of course, Charles Rangi, I should say, is out of this one. He finished up the hour and then climbed out the car. He was only out there for the hour, so he wasn't really looking to stay out there longer than the hour in that McLaren MP4. As I go back onto the live feed that we've just started again, thanks so much for joining us on every single occasion that we've started the live feed, and we do appreciate the support on the live feed. And we're also loving the fact that we can go interactive with you and have a chat to the people that are there. Simon Morris, I hope I answered the question correctly for you. It is a 4-hour endurance. No, they don't have to do one pit stop. They can do as many pit stops as they like. What they do have to do is that the driver has to drive 2 hours or less. So they have to come in and do a driver change. How long is the actual race for? That they race for 4 hours. So as the 4-hour mark comes up, the checkered flag will come out. Depending on whoever the first car is across the line at that 4 hour, they will take the checkered flag. The leader will then take it if it's not the lead car that they give the checkered flag to at that 4-hour mark. How long is the actual? Okay, we've answered that question for you. And one of the drivers will then have to do more than 2 hours of racing by a few minutes. Yeah, relatively, depending on how they play. I think they get a bit of leeway on that sort of 2 hour mark. They can go sort of 5 minutes in or out of that, which is why we saw a couple of guys trying to get their cars to the 2 hour limit and then push it to get through and ensure that they can then make those compulsory driver changes. So hopefully that answers some of the questions that have come up on Facebook, and I can see the feed here on the laptop. But on track, I can also see some cars piloting very nicely and trying to maintain the chances of finishing up this race where they are right now, or possibly even higher. If I look at how things have gone so far, this is, I'm just looking at the sheet that was handed to me. This is how things stand, I think, with, what was this? 11:35. And according to what I've got in front of me here, Stuart White's time is actually faster, but on my timing monitor it doesn't say that. So I'm not quite sure why I've been given this sheet of paper. I'm just double checking here. There we go. All right, let's just give you confirmation that Stuart White broke the official lap record in hour 1. In hour 2 and 15 minutes, he's now rebroken the lap record and gone and done a 1 minute 15.911. That is an exceptionally fast time around this circuit, and definitely blows away any other mark of car that's ever raced around this track, including Formula Ones, Formula Atlantics, and anybody else out there. So it's an official lap record that has been set. The timekeepers gave me the sheet, and it's a 15.911. 911, yeah, somebody better call 911 with the way that kid's driving right now. So top class effort there from Stuart White. I'm not quite sure if there's anything happening down in pit lane, but our pit lane consultant Colin Hastie's been pretty busy over the last couple of minutes when we got all those pit stops happening at the same time. Lights flashing there from Michael Stephen, just warning Howard Blake that he's coming, and goes flying down in towards Potters. We're down at Cochabana now on screen, and into Cochabana. A little change up there between the Alpha and one of the Nash Sports. I think that was John Oliver who went past there. Wright goes across the line in front of me as the Nash Sport heads to gate corner with the Alpha in tow. It's a long straight. There goes the Ginetta. There is your new lap record holder. It's twice in one day that he's set to lap record. Behind him is the Aston Martin trying to close things down there, maybe make up a little bit of ground. He has to get through on Michael Jensen first of all, which is why Michael Stephen's probably pushing as hard as he is. And in fact, if I look at the lap times that Michael Stephen is doing, he's now into his lap pace that he was in the first session. Michael Stephen was the second fastest driver on track throughout the day, doing a 1 minute 19.443 in the first hour. He then handed to Paul Hill, who was lapping in about the 23 to 25 minute 25 second bracket, and now Michael Stephen back down into the 19.4s. So doing those 19.4s and continuing to do those 19.4s will allow him to possibly close and pass Michael Jensen in the 8 call 247 Ligier. I just want to see if I can spot that car on track to see how big the deficit is that Michael's got to make up. The 8-call 247 car goes into the complex as Michael Stephen goes into Potters. So it's about half a lap he's got to try and make up to close down on Jensen. Jensen currently lapping in the 121s. In fact, no, in the 125. So he's 6 seconds a lap slower than Michael Stephen is at the moment. So Michael Stephen could possibly close that gap down and regain the lap that he lost to Michael Jensen and retake second place away from Jensen within this stint of driving. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Paul Hill can then maintain that pace to keep himself ahead of Jensen, because I think Jensen could possibly be finishing this race. They did take it right to the 2-hour bracket, and with that 2-hour bracket, it's now allowed Nick Adcock to hang on for the full 2-hour session, get his job done. He'll now sit in the waiting room in case anything goes wrong, but it'll be up to Michael Jensen to maintain the pace and possibly finish up in second place, or if something does go wrong dramatically at the end, maybe even look for the win. So Stewie heads down towards Potters. Coming out of Beacon is the Aston Martin of Michael Stephen. We're going to follow him. No, we're not. We're going to follow the 8-call car. In fact, if I look at the way things have gone now, I'm just looking at the gap. There is a bit of traffic there for Michael Jensen as he goes in. He's behind Dane Angel into the complex. There you can see it on track, so that's a great shot there. Thanks to our crew for picking up on that. He was slightly further back than what he was on the last pass where Michael Stephen went into Potters. He was already into gate and through into the S's. This time out, he wasn't even in the S's. So there's definitely a gap coming down and something we need to watch out for. Maybe Colin can shoot down and pick up on one of the teams and see what their strategy is between Michael Jensen's team and Michael Stephen's team. Because Michael Stephen currently lapping. The last lap he did a 23, and that was due to the fact he had a little bit of traffic. Michael Jensen had some traffic as well, but he did a 25, so he's still 2 seconds quicker than Jensen in second place, Michael Stephen. And he's still pushing very hard in that Aston Martin. So he certainly wants to get the Calix Aston Martin Vantage V12 up into second and not down in third where they currently are. It's going to be hard for him to do, though. That is for sure. Not an easy task at all for Michael Stephen. But if anybody's up for it, the multiple saloon car and karting champion that Michael Stephen is certainly a man that you want behind the wheel of any car at this stage of a race. We've got 2 hours and 20 minutes almost completed now. So we're looking at a good hour and 40 still to play here. And anything can happen and usually does, particularly in the South African Endurance Championship that I've seen so far since being on board on the microphone, and how things transgress into the latter part of each of these races that just bring plenty of action to our live stream feed all around the world. And we hope you're enjoying all of the live stream feed, guys. We really do appreciate the support and, of course, all of the liking and sharing that you guys are doing via our social media stream. Going back to that stream quickly to pick up on any other comments that might have come through. Thank you, Sean Best. I see that you've also just joined us there and trying to do some work but sneaking in some coverage at the same time. Don't let your boss catch you on social media while you're supposed to be working, buddy. But if you've got to do it, you've got to do it, you know. A man's got to do what a man's got to do. That's kind of what we got to play with here. So let's just get back onto our feed and see who else has come and joined us. Okay, well, I can see that Gary's also responding to a couple of the questions and things that are going on there. Yeah, Via Nokia, just to give you a heads up, it was a problem with the conrod going through the block there on Rian Botma's car. Hello, Michiel Gili, how are you? Alan McCulloch has joined us as well. Update on Trevor Graham and Brian Martin, with pleasure. At this stage, they had an alternator issue. It looks like they've got it sorted out, and the car is back on track. So if I go back to my timing, 27 has come in as well, so that's Romano Satori coming in for an unscheduled stop. Trevor Graham at this stage, for your info, but I think it's actually Brian Martin in the car. I don't think they changed the transponder. Brian Martin in the car at this stage. So to give you the information, they're currently sitting. Trevor Graham is down actually in the pit lane with Colin, so we can actually get a feed and a heads up from him directly. So to answer your question there, who was asking that question? Colin, there you go. What's happening down there?
Trevor, you filled oil, battery, all sorts of stuff. What's going on?
No, the problem was that the charge light came on, and before I could even get round the lap, the car stopped. So I think it was low on fuel, but it's also the main reason we came in for the charge light. Then while we were just checking, we checked that the oil was a little bit low, so we put more oil in. So.
And during your stint, you had a coming together with a little green elf. What happened there?
The 8-call car came past me, and as I went in to take my line, he tried to dive up the inside of me, but I didn't see him because I was watching the 8-call car, and then we clashed at Copacabana.
You're going to have a chat with him and say sorry?
Yeah, well, I think they should say sorry because I was in front.
There you go. I love the three sides to a racing incident.
I always think that if you're in front, then you have the line.
Awesome. If you're in front, you stay in front and you do what you need to do. You've got to love this stuff. Right. They've got some pit members in balaclavas and helmets down there. And it looks around about the 8-call area. Patrick, let's go walk. We go walk about and we go find the story. If the story doesn't come to us, we'll invent one. But we don't have to invent one here because this looks like the Honda, the dirty dogs. The dogs are ready. Let's have a quick chat here. Marcel Angel, is he the chief of the team, or is he just Dane the Rock's dad? Talking about times. So Dane's about to... No, it's not Dane. Jared Evans about to get back into the car. The DDR is Dirty Dog Racing. So they've got all their stuff ready going. You ready to rock this?
Yeah, ready to go.
And what was that discussion about now, keeping your lap times consistent?
Yeah, it's about keeping it calm out there, bringing it home. There's a long way to go, but just need to keep calm.
No pressure?
No, none at all. Never is.
Awesome, good luck.
Thanks.
Right, the guys are getting a little bit more serious. And let's just have a quick word with Marcel, who will tell us what's happening. Marcel, when's he coming?
Right now.
Right now, right. So we'll stay with it. And you love the tension. Back in the pits, he was kind of relaxed. And Marcel is a true racer. He's done all sorts of crazy things at crazy speeds, from 250 supercarts.
Looks like we lost the link there to Cole as he's going to Marcel, so we'll catch up with them as soon as he get back up and running. But Colin was just saying that Marcel Angel, of course, has done a huge amount of effort in his own right. Multiple saloon car champion, a V8 Masters champion. He's also won some races in the South African Endurance Championship in his Ferrari 458. And, of course, a world karting champion in 250 supercarts too. So definitely knows what to do behind the wheel of any racing car. Not a bad man to have as your team principal. And, of course, as your dad as well, with Dane Angel being the son to Marcel. So I don't know if Colin's back up and running, but on track we can see some action there. 8-call BMW coming up on the back end of the BMW. Jensen trying to come through there and make up some ground on Darren Winterboer. I don't have Winterboer saw him going into gate corner. And into gate now, Aston Martin. Now, just before we go down to Colin, just to give you an indication, those people that are watching all around the world, the 8-call Ligier is coming out of the complex as the Aston Martin goes into the complex. But down in pit lane, it is the Dirty Dogs who are ready to go.
Right, that's Dane Angel who's just got out of the car. Jared Evans getting in. The fuel goes in on the far side and the air comes out on the side. And if the light is good, we'll might to see some fuel fumes that come out of the end there. We'll have a quick talk to Dwayne the Rock Angel when he's busy finished strapping Jared Evans into the car. Car looks pretty clean, doesn't see much grass around it, so he's clearly stayed on the track. They're going to leave the tyres on. They're running semi-slick tyres and just having a quick squiz at them. They look very good. So I'm going to get out of the way of the front here. They've told him to turn and rock and roll and get going. And we'll spin it out of here. And off he goes. Rich as Dwayne the Rock. That was a long stint. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. The car felt very nice. Yeah, lots of fun.
And you're a complete fitness freak and a gym bunny of note with a physique of like a chiseled man. You don't even look like you're sweating. You got the air conditioner going on the car?
Homemade aircon, so nice vents from the outside.
But you've designed and developed those vents with all sorts of aerodynamic theory. It's good stuff.
Yeah, in our back garden.
How's that playlist coming on?
Yeah, we got it. I'm surprised it's not playing on air right now.
Go and get a drink. I mean, a cool drink. You're too young to drink. And an athlete like you would never stoop that low. And so that you've done, your pit stops are over, run like hell to the end?
We hope so. You never know what's going to happen. There's still, I think, probably hour 40 left. You never know.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Cheers. He's right. You never know. And that's the part that makes racing so lacquer. I'm just having a bit of a look in the pits here because Rion Botma, he's over there. We're going to go and talk to him because his car is Conradless. There we goes. Can we call you Conrad?
You can call me Conrad. You can call whatever you want at this stage.
Well, that's all right. So now I can really start. Rion, you bolted. You told us this morning that you were going to go for it on the first lap. You did that. What happened with the Conrad?
Well, I don't remember exactly what lap, but two laps before it actually put the Conrad through a block. The oil light was coming on, and I thought it was just oil level, so it was taking a bit slower through the fast corners. But unfortunately, I dropped the rod just after that. So
you've got the speed. This is 2 races in a row where we've seen that the car's got the speed, it's got the handling. And when things are lacquer, you've got the biggest smile in the earth. I'm glad you're smiling now because racing sometimes, I used the expression earlier, sometimes you're the pigeon, sometimes you're the statue. Today you were the statue. What are you going to do to come back and be the pigeon?
well, racing is about preparation. I think we're lacking on the preparation side. Definitely, we've got to do better preparation. We've got to test more, get the car sorted, and not break down on race days.
Now, Velcom, our next race is 2-3 hours with a 3-hour gap. How does that change the strategy, either in terms of driving or preparation?
Yeah, well, it's 6 hours if you look at it in total. So once again, it's preparation. We've got to test. We've got to see that the car is reliable. It's very heavy on tyres, so obviously we would like to go and test it beforehand to see how many pit stops we've got to do. But I can assure you we'll be right for Welcome.
And Sorrel will still be in the car with you, the fastest silver fox in the world.
He's the fastest silver fox. I'm just embarrassed because he can't get to drive the car. It's now twice that he was sitting at the racetrack without driving. So, yes.
Now we know Sorrel is not the most subtle oak in the world, and he calls a spade a shovel sometimes. Did he have anything to say?
Same to what I'm saying, preparation. That's what it all boils down to. He's quite happy. He understands racing. He knows it better than all of us. But
He's driven a bit.
Yeah, he's driven a bit, yeah. But, yeah, it's all about preparation. And racing is about preparation. It's not only the driver, it's a team effort, and we've got to pick up our preparation.
So we've got a new nickname for you now. You, from now on, you shall be Rion Conrad Botma.
100%. Thank you.
Just keep the Conrads on the inside of the engine.
Yeah. Just drop the rod at the end of the con, and you got me.
These are my people. These oaks are lacquer. Might try. Jesus, there's oil over there. It's a bit slippery on the thing here. So we've got the plastic pig. That's a term of endearment. This is the Wilson Wright car, the Wright Motorsport plastic pig. And you can just check out here all the rubber and the bits and pieces. It's dirty. That's probably one of the easiest ways of getting the fuel in. Just a normal, plain petrol pump. And let's talk about Matt Nash. They do have some issues where part of the rules, Matthew, Esteban Guerrera. Guerreri. So Guerrera would be his sister. Guerreri is Esteban.
Not really sure. Never met his sister. How do you know he's got a sister?
Well, the one's got an A, and if it's an A, it's a girl. If it's an I, it's a boy, apparently.
Sure.
They say.
Smart you are.
So you consulting at the moment as, I mean, you're a superstar engineer. Your cars are just running like clockwork.
Don't jinx it, man.
I didn't say what kind of clock. Esteban, you just helping everybody. You embody the spirit of race, where you walk around, you add spirit, energy, life to everybody.
I think it's incredibly important that everybody works to make motorsport better and help everybody. If the experience is better for everybody, everybody benefits. It's, you know, at the end of the day, my business is car racing, and if car racing comes apart because nobody tries, car racing's gone. So it's my business. So it works both ways.
I've got to just say this, Matthew. You're an asset to motorsport, and you add to our experience in these endurance races. Keep it up.
Thank you. It's fortunately we've got a bit more time these days. The cars have been far more reliable, so we can help a few other people. Gerald's obviously a good mate of mine, so I always help him. Let's hope it carries on going. We need to find some wood to touch after you tempted fate here.
Right, let's find a piece of wood. I can show. Would you like to touch my bicep? Right. There's not much more action in the pits. There's a whole lot of broken cars because racing is hard. It's tough. It's not for sissies. And we, as the now full of oil, it's full of electricity. We're waiting to see how long that battery in the red car lasts. Hopefully there are no green sports cars around that drive into it anymore. The guys in the booth, take it away.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how it goes, Carl. Particularly in endurance racing, it's hard, it's fast, and it can be a bit of a bite in the tail if you get it all wrong. No worries at all so far for Stuart White, though. He is continuing to dominate this race at the front end with his teammate Craig Jarvis, and they are doing an incredible job to stay at the front. Hello, Lisa Graham. Yes, we'll say hi to Matt for you, babe. Not a problem. Tanya Watts has also joined us, saying go, Michael. We like that P2 for this stage. He's pushing hard for P2. And as you rejoin us here, I'm just going to quickly flick across from our one screen to the other. Michael Stephen has gone to P2. So that's the reason why I've commented on Tanya Watson saying Michael has gone to P2 and got ahead of Michael Jensen. So the battle of the Michaels is out there. Earlier on in the day, if you joined us for the our endurance race from Historics, it was the battle of the Richards, or Richards. I could say it was the battle of something else, but that's the shortened version of the name for Richard, but we won't get into that. But there was a couple of those swinging around last time to get it all sorted out. But needless to say, the battle continues there with Stuart White out front. Now he has got 4 laps on Michael Stephen. He has got another 4 laps down to, in fact, a lap down to Michael Jensen. And Tony Martin up into 4th place now. A seasoned campaigner when it comes to endurance racing. So, as you heard from his teammate Mark McLaughlin earlier on, he's definitely a man to watch out for in the closing stages here. And we've got 2.5 hours completed. We're into the last hour and a half. That's a long, long way still to go in this race. Martin under attack now from Darren Winterboer in the BMW. And lights flashing coming from Stuart White as they head down the main straightaway down towards Potter's Pass. Overtaking maneuver there from the BMW, moving out of the way of the Jeanette as it comes up into Potters. Beg your pardon there, a little frog in the throat again. Tucks in behind the BMW. Loses a little bit of corner speed through there, but Stuart's not worried about setting lap record pace, so we were told. But then, of course, went out and set a brand new lap record on the one he'd just broken only an hour or so before. So clearly that wasn't the plan, but it definitely worked out to great planning from their side. So White, Stephen Jensen, top 3. Martin ahead of Howard Blake. Just heard from Matt Nash how well his cars are going, and we're not going to give it the commentator's curse there, Matty, because those cars are going exceptionally well. Jared Evans is up in a 6th place now. Behind him, then it's Dean Wilson in the Wright Motorsport Sports 2000. John Oliver in the 2nd Nash Sport in 8th. Darren Winterboer is in 9th. John McLaughlin down in 10th place right now in the Alfa Romeo. And then Brian Martin piloting the 2nd of the backdraft Cobras there in 11th. Romano Sartori and Franco Di Matteo still in 12th, but with some work to do. And I'm just watching as the rest of the cars behind that have all retired. So we don't have Aranjis. He, of course, won the hour. Botma's out. Solomon is out. Kish Patamba is out. So we are looking at the top 12 still in the running here for the Bigfoot Express Freight 700. And as I speak, Darren Winterboer peels into pit lane and brings the Barron's Motorspares BMW down back into pit lane now for what looks like an unscheduled stop, because I can see the team really weren't waiting for him. or were they? Because I can see some guys doing some refueling of the refueling rigs. And as he comes in there, let's see. No, they're going to be peeling that car into the box. So there's definitely a problem on that car. Maybe Colin can find out what's going on. Colin is there, so let's find out from them down in pit lane.
Right, Darren Winterbrew brings the BMW into the pits, number 83. They've had issues. They had a gear lever issue. It wasn't selecting gears. And then you'll see the front, a belt jumped off. The front is a bit mud, but it's still going. We are yet to find out what the problem is as they leave some parts. It's clearly under the bonnet. And let's ask Bradley Scorer. Bradley, don't run away. What's the problem?
Just the fan belt keeps jumping off.
Too much revs or too much not tight?
Yeah, not tight, I think. The other one shredded, and then I think we just didn't put this one on properly.
Awesome, right.
You want to put on. So let's hope we don't come in again.
Right, so they've got another fan belt going on. There's big wrenches, there's all sorts of stuff in there, and like a big turbo, because one has to have turbo. So they've just got a belt in, made the tensioner tensioned, and of course, it's a racing car. So what does it need? It needs duct tape. Now, our fashion police are going to have to talk to these oaks because it's a blue car. It needs blue duct tape. I need to talk to Freddie and see where his blue duct tape is. Push start, that'll give them a drive-through penalty. It's not a push start. I spoke too soon. I apologize. Yes. So you're not allowed to start it in the pit garage. Are they doing a 14-point turn here?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I think they're just getting it to the fuel rig without having to burn the clutch and risk anything else. So I think they're just going to fuel it, and yeah.
Because the clutches are sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a racing clutch. So it's also been working quite hard.
So what's the plan for Darren to stay in the car and go to the end?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And you're just going to chill?
Oh, I did my 2 hours, so all good.
Awesome. Right. Back to the racing somewhere else. And I believe, Greg, you have El Patron of Stradale Motorsport, a damn fine father and a lekker guy.
No, not
Take
quite
it
the
away,
father.
Greg.
I've got the son. But yeah, it's great to have you, Sholi. Fantastic effort this morning in the McLaren. I think the idea there was to sort of show what the car's potential is and possibly prep it for what's coming in the future.
Well, yes, I mean that's the whole point. Is this weekend was more for Paul and Michael and obviously Simon and Gavin. So in the perfect world, we can really run 2 cars in endurance. Yesterday what happened to Gavin was horrendous, to say the least. But it played out that we probably could have done the 4 hour. The car just wasn't prepped for that. Didn't have enough tires. But more than that, I mean, the McLaren is just such a good car. I couldn't believe it. I've just didn't have the pace that Michael had coming out of the corners. That Aston really is.
It's a beast.
It's
you should know. You've driven it.
Exactly, but I didn't know it was that good. But no, it's a funny feeling sitting behind it, and you just can't catch it. But more than that, I'm just proud of the team. I mean, the Aston is doing very, very well currently, lying second. Yeah. So we're very happy with that, and we're gonna press Michael as far as possible now, and see how far we can take it before Paul jumps in.
Cool. I think the cool thing about it is, and taking it from your side of things, in being the previous pilot to that Aston Martin, now you know how the rest of that extreme supercar field felt, as well as some of these guys feel when you're at the wheel of that car. When you're behind that car and it blasts out of the corner, and particularly with the driver of yourself, the caliber of yourself and the caliber of Michael Stephen, you know that you've got a machine that basically nobody can catch, other than maybe the Ginetta, but that's a purpose-built LMP car.
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, for a GT car, I struggle to see if there's a better car that you can buy for an amateur. It's an easy car to drive. It's easy to drive fast. For me to drive the McLaren that fast, you feel on the limit every single corner, whereas in the Aston it feels, it's nothing. It's really nothing. So, Paul came to the workshop to buy the McLaren after the previous East London round for the Extreme Supercars, and he walked off with the Aston, and I think, and he also will tell you that he made the best decision.
I can tell you, I see the smile on your face. I saw the smile on Michael's face, but the biggest smile in the entire complex this weekend has been Paul Hill's.
That is exactly that, and it's such a good thing for the sport, and that he actually, this is where he wants to race, nowhere else.
Yeah.
So, for the future, the Aston will be at every single round of the endurance, and I will be pressing to get more and more GT3s here. I think it's good for the field. Yes, we can't fight against the Ginetta, but we've got cars that can last, that are fast, and we've got a little crowd on the other side of the track that just loves the Aston every time it gets past. So it's already got like a cult following.
It has. And listen, I don't want to sort of break any top secret formulas that are coming through, but I believe there's a couple of cars on the water that are already on their way.
Obviously, but I mean, there's never not something.
I like that.
The 9 hour is around the corner, and with the Aston being sold, we have to make plans. So,
you know what? I love this because this gives us an opportunity to just break the news before anybody else does, and it's right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And I know there's some horses and some bulls coming as well.
Everything, but I mean, we've got clients that's keen on cars, so there definitely is an upsurge all of a sudden in the country for these type of GT race cars, and it's not just good for business for me, but it's good for the sport. I mean, it's, in my opinion, and again, my humblest of opinion, it's the most relevant class of race cars that we as South Africans can buy, because it's an internationally recognized series. You can race your car in the 9 hour.
Yeah.
There's no other car you can do that with in this country currently.
So exactly. And it was great to see, and as you said, unfortunately losing the Lamborghini with that little incident yesterday, and it was one that was a pretty costly incident, but we would have had 3 GT3 spec cars on the grid
That's
today.
the whole point, and that's why I brought the McLaren for the 1 hour, was, let's race each other for at least a good 40, 50 minutes at the start of the race, and, just showcase the cars. And, but yeah, I mean, I was, let me say, pleasantly surprised by the Aston. I mean, the McLaren just didn't have legs to stay or to keep up with the Aston. Yes, the Aston is restricted. It is running its BOP. I think the one thing we have just not done on the car is the weight. It is running a very light weight currently, well, base weight, so to say. So I think, if we start playing with BOP in this country, and it's not that difficult. I mean, we can run 2 things: BOP, restrictors, and weight, and it's that easy. For us to slow Michael down will maybe take like 20, 30 Ks.
Yeah. So just to jump in there, for those uninitiated out there that might not understand the acronym there, it's balance of performance. So in other words, it's a weight advantage or disadvantage that's given to a car because of its power to weight ratio. So you want to make sure that they're all on a level playing field despite coming from the different manufacturers.
Basically. So, you can race with a Porsche, you can race with the Aston, you can race with the McLaren. Essentially, the cars are equal. The best driver will win. That's 100%. Basically it. But each car also has its own personality, let's be honest. Around here, the Aston is phenomenal. It takes bumps so much better than any other car.
Yeah.
If we had to go to Swartkorps per se or Pakisa, the McLaren will come to the fore. So, it's that give and take.
Listen, we're going to Pakisa next. We've got 2-3 hours for the last round. It's going to be a slightly different format in terms of racing, so I'm sure you're going to be doing your homework behind that. But heading into that and then also looking forward into the 9 hour, and you mentioned it earlier on, it's so fantastic to have that back because it is giving you an opportunity as a businessman, but also for the South African fans and worldwide fans on our live stream feed to look at the 9 hour as something completely unique to South Africa.
Yes.
And also looking at possibilities of younger drivers like the Stuart Whites of the world getting chances to drive in that category. But I'm going to throw in a spanner in the works there. It's an expensive exercise to get it out for it.
It's very expensive. I mean, to do the 9 hour is phenomenally expensive just because of the euro or the race being in euros. So yeah, it is expensive for us. But we at Stradales, we're working with our new gentleman driver, Xolile Letlaka, the first black gentleman racer in the country, to get more younger.
Charles, sorry to jump in. We've got a little bit of action down in pit lane, but thank you so much for joining us. Colin, down to you, buddy.
Michael Jensen's just brought. Thanks, Greg and Charles. And sorry, you're not. I know you're the son, not father. They brought the third place car, the number 1 8-call car, into the pits. They're not sure what it is. There's something in the engine area that's not so lacquer. There's noises that they. I spoke to Chief Engineer Noons, and very briefly he said they're not sure what the problem is. There's noises, there's vibrations, and they're checking it out. So for now, he's parked. And interestingly, just before talking to him, I was talking to, or having a look at this car, we were talking to Paul Hill. Now, they say that they're coming in about 7 laps. Michael Stephen in the Aston is lapping 45 seconds a lap faster than this car. He caught and passed it and was pulling away. And Michael was, Paul Hill, is about to get into the Aston, and he's not as fast as Michael. Also, the tyres have started to drop off, and as the tyres drop off, the lap time goes down. So that lap time difference between this car and the Aston Martin is going to get a lot smaller. The theory was that these guys didn't have to stop again, and Paul was a little bit worried about that, but it stopped for we don't know why. Let's see if we can get in here. Craig, any idea further of what it is?
We're not sure at all, so we're just trying to see if we can find where the problem is.
Isn't it? What does the problem exhibit?
Water temperature just keeps on spiking at certain spots. So
okay, cool. Thanks. Right, there we've got an idea what the problem is. Well, we know what the symptoms are. The symptoms are water pressure spikes. They don't know the cause. They've got a blower. They're having a good look at it. And now these guys are getting even more serious about a pit stop. Paul Hill is ready to get in the car. Paul, we were just having a chat about the relative speed of you and the Ligier. Yeah. Things have changed now.
Where is the Ligier? Is the Ligier in the pits?
Yeah.
Okay, Michael went out on the new tyres. That's why you saw a quick tyre change. So he's gone out to make up the time. He's made up the time. Now apparently the Ligier is back in here with a cooling problem or something. So takes a bit of pressure off me. Michael's still got 20 odd litres of fuel left to run. So we're going to run as deep as we can, and then come in, and then I'll go out.
Have you tested the car to see if it starts running out of fuel, you can make it back to the pits?
Yeah, we've got an emergency button which on the display it tells us that we're on low fuel. In that way, it actually helps us decide when to come in. We are counting the laps. We know more or less how much we use per lap, but at the pace he's going now, I think he might be using a little bit more than we expect. But when it comes on low fuel, he'll be on the radio. The guys are ready.
How many laps before he comes?
I think it's about another 10.
Okay, cool.
He's going at the moment. Just leave him
there. Good luck. The new owner of the Aston, he's just so happy with this car. He's in love with his car, actually. It is just a proper car. We were talking about the patron, the father, the old man, Uncle Oom.
Ja, oompie.
Hoe gaan dit?
Goed met jou.
Ja, baie goed, dankie. En die dag, the day's working out well for you.
Working very well. We are so chuffed. Paul is doing excellent. Michael is doing excellent. Charles won the 1 hour, although he was the only one. So it's all good. Wonderful.
Motor racing is lekker, isn't it?
Lekker bly, lekker ry. Especially the 4 hour. Especially this type of racing. Well, this is what we like.
And it's not easy, eh? To get to the end of this race. We've seen there's a lot of broken cars.
Oh yes, and if you look next door, Michael Jensen and Nick Ackott, you know that car's so reliable and they got a problem. So there's still another hour and a half.
They tell us the water temperature is spiking on that car.
I heard that. I heard when you said that. But I'm sure they'll do something to sort it out. But now
there's a great team and they work like troopers to get things fixed.
Yes, absolutely. But if you look at our team now, look at them. They are just doing an awesome job.
You're very proud of this operation, Stradale Motorsport.
Stradale Motorsport is my passion and of course my sons as well. So we're just getting more and more into this and it's the type of thing that we like to do.
I want to know, When are you starting the braai to make some of that lekker boerewors that you made yesterday?
Yes. Well, we'll wait till it's finished and then we'll start the braai. Today we've got some choppies. So
A lamb chop?
we got a lamb chop.
Will you keep me? Because some call me a chop. So the chop can have a chop.
The chop is going to have a chop. I tell you.
Thank you,
Lekker ou, Colin.
Tell you what, you got to love this lot. Yeah, right. So the 8-core car is coming out now. Michael Jensen's they're going back. They got to put fuel in it. And the question is, are they going to make a tyre stop as well? They're not rushing. Well, we know most of them are from South Africa. They're not Russians either. And the Nash is coming in as well. This is the yellow one. They were on course. They were working hard for the Leisurely Pit Stop Award. It's the Oliver car, Mega Pile. I really want to know what Mega Pile is. A mega pile of what? Right, the one car is out. Let's go. While they have their leisurely pit stop, we are going to trace down Chief Engineer Noons. I know he's going to talk to us. Right, what was the problem? What did you do to fix it?
No idea. We prayed.
Awesome, and it worked.
I hope so.
And you reset the alarms?
Yes, of course.
Awesome stuff. And so here we have Mrs. Jensen. She loves talking to us. So how do you feel when Michael brings the car in and it's not lekker, is it?
No, I feel very anxious.
But he's back out now? All good?
Exactly. As long as he enjoys himself, that's the main thing. And gets out, he comes back safe and everything's good.
So you see, it's not that difficult talking to us on phone. Every time we come to interview, you run away.
I do. I don't particularly like to speak on TV.
But this is not TV. It's just global Facebook feed, and there's only about, at last estimates, 3,495,002 people watching.
Thank you very much. Anyway, you're doing a good job. Thank you, Colin.
Gotta love that. The voices in my head are telling me other things. Now, we've seen the style police up and down the pit lane. And Dwayne, the Rock Angel. What's with these shorts thing? Is it a Cape Town thing?
What, the shorts? They're shorts. What are you talking about? They're shorts.
Well,
are they meant to be 3/4? Is that how they do it in Joburg?
China, it's not the shorts I'm worried about, it's the legs.
Oh, what, are they a bit white?
Don't you know that every day is a legs day?
Yeah. No, I don't hit the gym like you say.
But what, you just have this chiseled look naturally?
Well, if you call it chiseled, I'm happy with that.
Can you turn, there's the camera, talk to the fans. Tell us about your Magnum PI shirt.
My Magnum PI shirt. Yeah, it's good to go for the Sunday Fun Day.
It's very much a Cape Town vibe you got going.
100%.
I've never understand it fully.
Oh, you must come and spend some time then you'll see.
But I believe the people in Cape Town are pretty grumpy.
Not my mates. I know you know that.
Because that's the Dirty Dog team.
Exactly.
What is it that make your dogs so happy?
It's just a good vibe in the team. Everyone loves what they're doing. Don't take ourselves too seriously. Push. And yeah, it's nice how over the year, we've slowly developed the car. Every race we arrive with new bits that we've all made in-house, so it's a proper team effort, which I enjoy.
I think the fabrication work on your aerodynamics in the windows is just, it's out of this world.
Yeah, that was done by me yesterday, and I think it looks fantastic as well. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Cheers.
All right, we're holding thumbs. No more bad luck in this race for anybody.
Well, maybe the guys in front, but not us.
Okay, can you do us a favor and turn on the playlist and get some music pumping here? We thought that you would bring your sound system.
Consider it done. I'll go turn on right now.
Okay, thanks a lot. We got to run because we see the Ligier coming into the pits now again. So what the problem is.
So we just lost the link there with Cole. As soon as he's back up and running, we'll go down to him in the Ligier pit. But looks like some fun and games about to happen here in the closing stages. We are getting into the closing stages of this race, of course. So stand by for the last part of the action to unfold. And as we're coming in here, we got It's 2 hours and 56 minutes and 15 seconds that we've been running for. So we're pretty much coming to the end of our part 4 of this production. And we'll be getting into that, of course, and doing a little bit of load. But before we do that, hopefully Colin is back up and we can find out what's happening down there with that aid call 247 Ligier. When he's ready to go, I'll pass you down to him. Stuart White currently lapping in the 121s. So very consistent driving from Stuart White. Michael Stephen also in the 121s. That's incredible to see that Aston Martin lapping the same time as the LMP Ginetta G57. Adcock, as we saw, with some problems down in pit lane and some more problems, and it's not actually Nick Adcock at the car, it's actually Michael Jensen in that car now. Tony Martin still in 4th place, Howard Blake still in 5 ahead of Jared Evans, who's in the Dirty Dogs Honda. Dean Wilson ahead of Byron Oliver now, and Darren Winterboer ahead of Terence Ladner, who's in the Alfa Romeo, the lone Alfa Romeo out on track. So Colin is down in pit lane waiting for the Ligier to find out what's happening there, so let's go down to Colin and see what's happening.
All right, the Ligier came in. Michael Jensen brought the car in for a quick stop. They've still got the problem with the water temperature spiking. So Nick Adcock leaned over, and it was convenient that we had a bit of an issue and had some time. Took the earpiece out. I could hear clearly. It was right. What you got to do, he said, was drive the car around slowly, short shift wherever is possible, and just keep circulating. They're doing pretty well in the championship. And he's just gone past, sounding quite lacquer. They are short shifting quite a lot because he was changing into top gear well past the exit of the pit lane. They changing well before. I'm going to see if we can just catch a walk down here and talk to Nick very quickly, if you will. Nick, you said to him, drive it around slowly, short shift. Is that going to solve the temperature issue?
I don't know, it's worth trying. We don't know why. Could be a faulty sensor. It doesn't actually appear to be that hot when it came in, but he's getting alarms on the dash and he's doing the sensible thing by coming in to get it checked out. So we're just going to go and rev it less and see if it will manage the temperatures.
Because you playing the long game in this championship thing and you've got to finish at the moment.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this circuit has once again proved it's very hard on cars by the look at the number of people in this garage. So we need to have a finish. So we're just trying to nurse it home now. Let's see what he does the next few laps. So
it is a brutal race. An hour left, and good luck for that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Right, and behind us here we see the Sartori D'Amadio car. Romano Sartori in the car. They've done immense work on this thing with electrics, and they've brought in Eskom. They couldn't help. They brought in solar panels. We don't know if that's going to help. I joke, guys. They've done a Control-Alt-Delete and a reset, and that's Franco D'Amadio leaning in, and his sense of humor has almost run out. We'll just have a look, and we'll go back to Greg to carry on while we battle with getting this thing started. Greg, take it away.
Thanks, Carl. Yeah, well, that brings us to the 3rd hour being completed, about 10 seconds to go to get into 3 hours of racing done and dusted, which means that we're going to take a slight break in proceedings now and come back to you in a few minutes' time with our final bit of action here from the Bigfoot Express Freight 700 at East London Grand Prix Circuit, the South African Endurance Series.